Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be building this really easy raised garden bed. If you guys stick around, I'll show you guys just how to do this. I'm going to start out by cutting all the 2x4s down to length. All you're going to need for this is really simple, just a bunch of 2x4s as well as a few sheets of corrugated metal roofing. This is really simple to build. I'm going to cut down all the pieces to size and lay them out and assemble all the panels all at once. Now I'm going to be using pressure treated 2x4s for this. If you're concerned about the chemicals in pressure treated 2x4s, go ahead and get cedar lumber. It's safer, it doesn't have all the chemicals in it. It may not last as long, but it is a good option for these garden beds. Now I will say that pressure treated lumber has gotten a lot safer more recently. It doesn't have all the harmful chemicals that it used to, but it still isn't ideal for food gardens. So that's why I'm going to be trying to eliminate contact with the direct soil. That is how most chemicals are leached, are direct contact, soaking it out of the wood. Without it coming in contact with the wood, it's going to keep it safely away from the garden bed. If you're concerned about this at all, I'd recommend doing some research for yourself until you're comfortable with your decision, whether that's cedar or using the pressure treated. So I'm going to start assembling this and show you guys how this goes. We're going to start by assembling the frames first. We're going to be screwing these together with 3-inch long deck screws. This is really easy once you have all the pieces cut to just quickly assemble this. I'm going to provide build plans for this for free on my Patreon account for all my supporters on there. If you're interested, I'll leave the link to that Patreon account down in the description below if you want to go check that out. Now that we have the frames built, we're going to move on to attaching the metal roofing to those frames. Now, one sheet has to be cut down for the 2 end caps, and we're going to cut this down using a circular saw. Someone passed on this tip on YouTube, mentioned that you can cut the metal using a circular saw if you turn the blade backwards. So you can see the circular saw is supposed to spin counterclockwise, and I have the blade facing clockwise. So basically this cuts with the back side of the tooth on that saw blade, and somehow it works really well. So if you end up trying this and it works for you, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know if this helped anybody. Next, we're going to start attaching the metal roofing to those frames. To do this, we're just using simple metal roofing screws. They have a little rubber gasket underneath a washer, and when it tightens down, it seals the hole that the screw goes through, sealing off any water that could leak out. Now, this is where most of the strength comes from with these garden beds. The corrugated metal really adds a ton of strength to the sides and stabilizes it really well. The 4 sides are ready to attach together and create the garden bed. We're going to use those 3-inch long deck screws again to attach those corner pieces, and this is giving us the final structure of that garden bed. Now we're going to be attaching a molding or trim piece across the top. This really gives a lot of strength on the top as well, keeps it from bowing out, and gives it a lot more strength with the force of the dirt pushing it outward. This top board going around the outside of the garden bed is actually made out of southern yellow pine, not pressure treated, so this will need to be stained or treated so that this will not rot out nearly as fast. But this will have some contact with the soil. Water will run off of this into the soil in the garden bed. So just to be a little extra safe, we're going to make this out of pine instead of pressure treated for that top piece. The garden bed's finished. All we need to do now is fill it, and that is going to take a lot of material, and I've actually gotten a lot of comments on YouTube about my previous garden bed video that I made that it's just a waste of space, a waste of materials, a waste of soil and money filling this up. Just grow it on the ground and you'll be fine, which that may be true, but if you do have poor soil where you live, like what we have, red clay, it is hard to get gardens lots of times to grow, and certain plants won't grow in that red clay. So doing this allows you to customize that soil, make sure that's really good quality and that it's ready to grow the garden that you want. So we're actually going to be filling this up, and a really good trick that I like to do is to take all your yard waste, if you have logs, branches, leaves, dirt, take that and fill up a good portion of the bottom of that garden bed, and it will decompose and shrink over time, but as it does that, it will feed your garden and keep it really nutritious. So I love to fill this up as much as possible with that wood, leaves, all sorts of things, and that will cut down on the amount of soil you're actually going to use. Also, another tip, instead of buying bags of soil from Walmart, Lowe's, or Home Depot, go to a local landscape supply and they will have scoops of topsoil or garden soil that you can use, and they may even deliver it for a small fee if you don't have a truck. That's much cheaper than buying bags and bags of garden soil and trying to fill this up. So with those two tips, you can really fill this up for much cheaper. I think we only spent $60 with the wood and waste that we had around the yard and a couple scoops of topsoil from our local landscape supply. Like I mentioned before, the board across the top is actually pine, not pressure treated, so we're going to add a quick coat of stain across this to seal it and protect it from moisture and from rot. After filling the garden bed with mostly wood, we're going to come back with some leaves and fill in around any of those gaps and cover up this whole section. So this is actually going to pack down quite a bit into those logs and cover up any of those gaps that most of the dirt will fall down into and use up a lot of our soil. So we're going to pack this down real quick, and then it's time to put the topsoil over top of this. We'll end up using 2 scoops of topsoil in here. That's 2 tons of soil, and that will go actually pretty quick. We'll fill this up, and that will give us a good 6 to 10 inches of soil that the garden can grow in. And over time, that's going to settle down, and the logs underneath are going to decompose, and it's going to give you some really nice, rich soil. After the first couple years, you're going to maybe want to keep adding just a little bit of soil here and there as this decomposes and settles down. Alright guys, that just about finishes up the video for today. I hope you guys found this one helpful. If you did, hit that like button down below and let me know in the comment section. Also, if you have any concerns about this design or any other recommendations that would be better, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, if you have not subscribed yet to the channel, go hit that subscribe button. It will give you a notification each time I upload a new video and you won't miss out. A huge shout out to all my supporters on Patreon. Your support helps make these videos possible, so I want to thank you for that. And if anyone else is interested in supporting the channel, you can find the link to my Patreon account down in the description of this video. Thanks so much guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to check out the build plans for this on my Patreon account. I'll leave the link down below if anybody's interested. Also, don't forget to check out my other raised garden bed videos.